Hey guys! All right, so you are looking to buy a new house, but have you actually thought about what type of area you want to move to and what kind of lifestyle you're actually looking for? Well, whether you're buying in a busy city, a suburban neighborhood, or a quiet farming town, every property does come with its own unique considerations. Over the next 3 segments, we're going to cover different types of areas and homes found throughout New Jersey, and some important details that you may not think to check before buying.
Hi, and welcome back to this week's Did You Know? Real Talk with Nina and Christine. Today, we are talking about rural and suburban areas. And when comparing the two, some of the biggest differences are going to involve the amount of land you have, utility systems, access to transportation, and proximity to, those everyday things and places we go. So when you're buying a home, it's important to think beyond the purchase price and consider, the systems, responsibilities, restrictions, and potential costs that can come with the property. So let's dive in and make sure all your bases are covered.
All right, so let's start with rural properties. Okay, where you'll generally find a lot more land with these types of properties and fewer homes clustered together. And instead of only a quarter-acre lot in a planned neighborhood, you could find a lot with several acres of land, or possibly more. Rural properties are common throughout the areas such as Sussex County, Warren, Salem, and parts of Hunterdon County. But you also, can find those rural sections in many other parts of New Jersey as well.
So utility systems, in rural areas, they can look a little different from what you're used to. Many rural homes still rely on private well water, which means that the homeowner is responsible for maintaining the water source. And in New Jersey, the Private Well Testing Act does require that untreated well water be tested for specific contaminants before your property is sold.
Another system you may come across is called a POET system, which stands for Point of Entry Treatment. This is a whole house water treatment that, this treatment system that is installed where the water enters the home. And it does have to be, specific to the type of contaminants in the ground in those areas. So they will have to test it. Now, it may be, again, it's going to be needed for those, groundwater contaminants, like such as the PFAs. When Christine, you want to give a go at how to actually pronounce that, because I cannot pronounce the full name of the acronym.
Yes. These are per and polyfluoroalkyl substances. And these are those like forever chemicals they made in the 50s they make the products more resistant to stuff, but they don't break down nicely.
Yeah, they're not really nice for, us nor the environment. But along with those, there's also industrial chemicals or volatile organic compounds that could be in groundwater, which is why a POET system exists. This is to help make the water safe for drinking, bathing, washing, and everyday use.
So for wastewater, rural properties, they may have either a septic system or a cesspool. Septic is an underground wastewater treatment system, and this is, they are both used in areas without public sewer. It does require ongoing maintenance, routine pumping, and should also be inspected before purchasing the property, obviously. A cesspool is older and a little more outdated system. It does collect the household sewage, but it does not treat it the same way a septic system does. So if the property does have a cesspool and you are buying one of them, you need to determine if it's functioning properly and check the state and local regulations. It may require you to, repair it, close it, or replace it.
Exactly. Now, when it comes to heating for rural properties, propane and oil are also very common in these types of areas that do not have natural gas services. Now, we've talked about this before, but just to recap, these systems may use above ground or underground fuel tanks. Buyers, you should find out where the tank is located and whether it is owned or leased, and whether any soil testing, tank sweeps, or integrity inspections are recommended.
So here's another consideration that may be less familiar is private roads and access agreements. So some rural properties will have really long driveways, unpaved access roads, or roads that are shared by several homeowners. Usually you will have a written maintenance agreement, and it should explain who is responsible for the expenses like snow removal, repairs, and or repaving.
Now, depending on the property, the additional acreage may provide room for chickens, detached workshops, or other uses. But don't assume that having more land automatically means you could do whatever you want with the property. Agricultural zoning, deed restrictions, wetlands, protected land, forestry requirements, or the New Jersey Pinelands regulations may limit where you can build, extend the home, add structures, or clear trees from.
So now let's talk about suburban properties. These homes are generally located on smaller lots in more densely populated neighborhoods or planned developments, right? Public utilities here are also much more common. Your water and sewer services are typically provided and billed by the municipality or township or a private utility company. So there aren't usually on-site water or wastewater systems that you would have to maintain.
Now, however, there are suburban homes may be subject to more municipal rules and restrictions. These can cover things like fence height, shed placement, exterior improvements, street parking, and rental use. If the property is located within a homeowners association, there may be additional rules covering paint colors, landscaping, vehicles, and exterior changes. If you already have a specific plan for the property, make sure you review both the township requirements and any HOA rules before moving forward.
You should also pay attention to easements and setbacks because suburban properties may have, well, they usually have, honestly, shared utility lines running through the yard. They'll have sidewalk maintenance responsibilities and tighter setback requirements that limit how close you can build to a property line. Property taxes will probably also reflect the cost of municipal services such as schools, emergency responses, trash pickup, and recycling.
Now, both rural and suburban properties can have stormwater management features such as sump pumps, French drains, or nearby retention basins. You should also find out whether the property is located in a designated flood zone or has a history of drainage or water intrusion problems. There are important items. These are important items, you're going to want to review during the home inspection and do due diligence because every property is different and not every home will need or have the same systems.
So let's talk lifestyle. Rural living may mean longer drives to things like shopping, grocery stores, restaurants, schools, emergency services, and healthcare facilities. You may be and probably will be more dependent on a car and have a longer drive to public transportation and all major roadways, which can really affect your daily commute.
Now, suburban townships are closer to major highways like Turnpike, Garden State Parkway, or 195, public transport, and park and rides. High-speed internet and shopping are also, a lot more accessible. Restaurants and facilities mentioned above. These may seem, trivial, but can have a major impact on your daily routine and overall lifestyle.
When deciding between rural and suburban living, think about more than just the size or style of your house. As we mentioned, consider how much land you want to maintain, whether you're comfortable managing private utilities, how far you want to drive, how close you want to be to all the things like shopping and restaurants and schools. Because the town you choose can really shape your day-to-day life. So it ultimately does come down to this lifestyle, location, and level of privacy that is going to work best for your life.
And as always, we're here to help. And if you are looking into different types of properties here in New Jersey, but you don't know where to start, just reach out to us via DM or by using our contact information I'm putting up on the screen right now.
So that's it for this week's Did You Know? Real Talk with Nina and Christine. Thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to like, share, and follow, and we will see you next week. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.